This is the solution for the Google Earth Engine service account coding exercise, which is based on this tutorial that can be found in the Tethys platform documentation. Up to this point, you've been using your personal Google account to authenticate with Google Earth Engine. However, as we prepare the app for deployment onto production server, you'll want to learn how to set up the app to use a service account instead. A service account is an account that's associated with an application rather than a user. This tutorial requires you to have already registered with Google Earth Engine and created a service account associated with that API. You can find a link to this tutorial that details how this is to be done. Keep in mind that these applications are manually reviewed, so it will likely take several days for your application to be reviewed and approved. Once you have your service account, the first thing you'll need to do is generate a key that your app can use. That's where this tutorial picks up. To generate the key, open a new tab and navigate to console.developers.google.com. Once the console loads, select your project from the menu on the top left. Keep in mind that your project may not be showing by default if it belongs to an organization that isn't shown by default. The project that is associated with the Google Earth Engine API is the Earth Engine app, so I'll select that one. Notice that the Google Earth Engine API is listed here. To access my service accounts, click on Credentials. They'll be listed here at the bottom under the Service Accounts section. I happen to know that the service account associated with the Google Earth Engine API is this one here. If you're unsure, one way to figure out which one is associated with the API is to go to the dashboard and select the Google Earth Engine API link, and then from this page select Credentials. This will list the service accounts again, but this time sorted by usage with this service or this API. So again, this top one is the one that has the most usage on this API and is associated with the Google Earth Engine API. Either way you get there, click on the link to the service account to see the service account details. On this page, you will see several details about your service account, including its name, a brief description that you gave it, as well as the email that you will need when you are using it in the app. To generate a key, click on Add Key, Create New Key. Select JSON as the type and press Create. Notice that a file is downloaded when you click on that. This is your key file, and it isn't stored anywhere on the cloud platform, so you'll need to make sure to keep it in a safe place. If you lose the key, you'll have to come back and generate a new one. Go ahead and navigate in a file browser to your downloads directory, and let's move this file to a different location so we don't accidentally delete it. I'll go ahead and cut it and go to Home and put it in the Tethys Dev folder. I wouldn't recommend storing it with your app code so that you don't accidentally publish it. This is sensitive information, so it shouldn't be kept with your app code. Now that you have a key file, you'll need to configure the app to use it to authenticate with Google Earth Engine. Fortunately, the app already has the logic in place to be able to handle this. Open up PyCharm and expand the GEE folder and open up params.py. Here you'll see two variables, service account and private key, that should store the email address and path to the JSON file that contains the key. Let's go ahead and fill these out. I'll go back to the console, locate the email address in the service account details, and paste it here in params.py. Then I'll go to the directory where I dropped the file. I'll press Ctrl L so that I get the address bar, and I'll copy the address to the directory it's in and paste it here. Then I'll go back, right-click on the file and select Properties and copy the name. Go ahead and close that, and I'll paste this here at the end. So that is the absolute path to the file where my key is stored. Then I'll go ahead and save this and make sure Tethys restarts, which it does. And let's go test the app to make sure it works appropriately with the service account. Go ahead and launch the app and go to the viewer. And I'll try to load one of the data sets. Looks like that worked. So next I'll drop a point, maybe here, and try the plot AOI functionality, which looks like it's working. And it's clipping, so everything appears to be working appropriately. This is how you set up your app to use a service account.